Hello, you're tuning in the English News Bulletin on QPVN channel. I'm Chong Nguyen, and now let me keep you up to date with the headlines. Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính urges enhancement of administrative reform. Vietnam and India to heighten defense cooperation. Vietnam to welcome 18 million international tourists in 2024. On July the 15th in Hanoi, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính chaired the 8th meeting of the Government Steering Committee for Administrative Reform. At the meeting, the steering committee assessed that thanks to the drastic directions of the government and Prime Minister, along with the participation of ministries, localities, people and businesses, the handling of problems and inadequacies in administrative reform has been actively implemented, contributing to promoting administrative reform and improving the business and investment environment. Concluding the event, Prime Minister Chính appreciated the efforts and achievements of ministries and localities. He also pointed out some limitations, causes, and lessons learned in implementing administrative reform. Directing task and solution for administrative reform in the coming time, the Prime Minister thoroughly grasped the implementation of the Five Forward spirit. On the occasion of the 77th anniversary of the Wounded Soldiers and Martyrs' Day, on the afternoon of July the 15th, a mission of the Ministry of National Defense, led by Second Lieutenant General Nguyễn Tân Cương, Chief of the General Staff and Deputy Defense Minister, visited and paid tribute to former leaders of the party, state and military, and national contributors. Offering incense and paying tribute to former leaders of the party, state, and military, General Cương expressed the deep gratitude towards the sacrifice and great contribution of the predecessors for the national revolutionary cause, as well as the development of the heroic Vietnam People's Army. Visiting and inquiring after General Phạm Văn Trà, Lieutenant General Đặng Quân Thụy, and General Đỗ Bá Tị, Second Lieutenant General Nguyễn Tân Cương briefed the former leaders on the outstanding achievements in military defense mission completion of the whole military over the past year, and voiced his hope that the former leaders of the Ministry of National Defense would continue to pay close attention and contribute valuable opinions to the building, development, and task completion of the Vietnam People's Army. On the morning of the same day in Hanoi, Second Lieutenant General Hoàng Xuân Chiến, Deputy Defense Minister, received Indian Ambassador to Vietnam Sandeep Arya. General Chiến affirmed that Vietnam-India defense cooperation has recently been effectively promoted by both sides, notably in many fields. He asked the ambassador to pay more attention to promoting bilateral defense cooperation, focusing on some important contents of common interest. For his part, Ambassador Arya stressed that India always attaches importance to developing comprehensive and practical relations with Vietnam, including defense cooperation. He also affirmed to make more efforts to heighten ties between the two countries, deepening Vietnam-India cooperation in all fields, including defense cooperation. Defense diplomacy is one of the important pillars of party diplomacy, state diplomacy, and people's diplomacy, contributing to enhancing the position and prestige of the Vietnam People's Army and country in the international arena, contributing to maintaining a peaceful and stable environment to protect, build, and develop the fatherland. Let's review the outstanding results now to better understand the work of international integration and defense diplomacy in the first 6 months of 2024. Over the past 6 months, the Central Military Commission and the Ministry of National Defense led and directed the implementation of international integration and defense diplomacy in accordance with the parties and state foreign policy and guidelines. Defense diplomacy and international integration were proactively deployed. Foreign affairs and defense cooperation were promoted in a practical and effective manner with focal content, contributing to maintaining harmonious relations with major countries, strategic partners, neighboring states, ASEAN members, and traditional friends. The highlight of Vietnam's defense diplomacy was the 8th Vietnam-China Border Defense Friendship Exchange last April, taking place in Lao Cai Province of Vietnam and Yunnan Province of China. The event was co-chaired by the Minister of National Defense of Vietnam, General Phan Văn Giang, and the Minister of National Defense of China, Second Lieutenant General Dong Chun. Over the past 10 years, with 8 editions, the exchange has become the pride of the two countries of Vietnam and China. Vietnam-China Border Defense Friendship Exchange is a trademark of cooperation between the two countries' militaries. It contributes to strengthening strategic exchanges between senior leaders of the two militaries, deepening cooperation between the two forces. Within the framework of the exchange, Minister Phan Văn Giang and Minister Dong Chun agreed to continue to thoroughly implement the joint statement between the two countries on promoting increasingly practical defense and security cooperation, strengthening delegation exchange, especially high-level ones, maintaining and upholding the effectiveness of annual cooperation mechanisms. The two sides signed a memorandum of understanding between the two ministries of defense on establishing a hotline between the Vietnam People's Navy and the Southern Theater Command of the People's Liberation Army of China. Over the past 10 years, since 2014, through 8 editions, the Vietnam-China Border Defense Friendship Exchange has increasingly developed, contributing to deepening the solidarity between people and border protection forces of the two countries. Attending the exchange, a meaningful event filled with friendship for the first time, Minister Dong Chun emphasized that the 8th edition has contributed to concretizing the common awareness of the two countries' senior leaders. Through exchanges, Vietnam and China continue to affirm the comradeship and brotherly relations between the two parties, states, militaries, and peoples. Let's unite together, develop together, build friendship together, and pin high hope for a new future of friendly cooperation between Vietnam and China. In recent time, bilateral cooperation has continued to be consolidated, enhanced, and promoted with practical results, especially with neighboring countries, bordering states, strategic partners, ASEAN members, and traditional friends. Harmonizing and balancing relations contributes to building trust and maintaining friendly relations with other countries. In ASEAN activities, Vietnam has made important contributions to the common development. In early March, at the ASEAN Defense Ministers Retreat, or ADMM Retreat, the Vietnamese representative emphasized the long-term strategy for ASEAN's vision after 2025, as was the need to act together for peace, stability, security in the region, neutralize risk, and improve adaptability to new developments in the international and regional situation. Vietnam supports the continued implementation of the ADMM Plus Expert Working Group observation programs and welcomes the registration of countries to participate in with the view to making substantive and effective contributions to peace, cooperation, and development in the region. The Coast Guard has regularly exchanged relevant information with maritime enforcement forces of other countries. Successfully organizing the 7th Vietnam-China Coast Guard World Meeting. At the same time, Vietnam Coast Guard also sent Ship 8002 to visit, exchange, and conduct joint operations with the Chinese counterpart. Along with professional exchanges, visits, and contacts between air defense and air forces contribute to strengthening the mutual trust and understanding, thus creating a premise for further strengthening cooperation in the coming time. Border relations work continues to be maintained with high efficiency, practically contributing to strengthening the defense relations of solidarity, friendship, and mutual trust with adjacent neighboring countries. An important event commemorating the 80th founding anniversary of the Vietnam People's Army is the 2nd Vietnam International Defense Expo, slated for December the 19th to the 22nd, 2024 in Hanoi, under the theme Peace, Friendship, Cooperation for Mutual Development. In the recent times, preparation work has been actively implemented. The delegation of the Ministry of National Defense attended exhibitions organized by other countries with the view to exchanging experiences, as well as introducing Vietnam Defense 2024. The event is an opportunity to promote defense cooperation and technology transfer while expanding investment cooperation and defense industry with other countries and international partners.
Coming up next, Vietnam and Republic of Korea enhance public administration cooperation.
Vietnam to welcome 18 million international tourists in 2024. Within the framework of the working visit to the Republic of Korea on July the 15th, a high-level delegation from the Ministry of Home Affairs of Vietnam, led by its Minister Phạm Thị Thanh Trà, met with the Republic of Korea's Minister of Interior and Safety Lee Sang-min in Seoul. Vietnamese ambassador to the Republic of Korea, Vũ Hồ, also attended the meeting. At the meeting, Minister Phạm Thị Thanh Trà stated that the Ministry of Home Affairs of Vietnam has had a good relationship with its Korean partners. The Republic of Korea has received many delegations from the Ministry of Home Affairs of Vietnam for short-term training and capacity-building programs. For his part, Minister Lee Sang-min noted that over the past few decades, the Republic of Korea has rapidly developed as a recipient of aid to donor country. This visit to the Republic of Korea is very practical and meaningful for the Ministry of Home Affairs of Vietnam. Our goal is to strengthen friendly cooperation with the Ministry of Interior and Safety, as well as the Ministry of Personnel Management of the Republic of Korea. Through these ministries, we'll share experiences in public administration management, human resource management, and particularly training human resources in Vietnam's public sector. The two ministers agreed to enhance cooperation in the fields of public administration. Until the end of the year, a seminar on government innovation in the face of global challenges will be held. The Republic of Korea will increase information sharing to support Vietnam in administrative reform, state governance, and reform of local governments. According to the International Renewable Energy Agency, or IRENA for short, Vietnam is leading ASEAN's energy transformation efforts. Wind and solar electricity contributed very little to Vietnam's energy structure in 2017. However, just 6 years later, in 2023, Vietnam accounted for more than two-thirds of ASEAN's total solar and wind energy production. Thailand, ranked second, generates only a fraction of Vietnam's solar and wind energy output. Vietnam's recent expansion of solar and wind energy applications is seen as a typical effort with the goal of producing 13% of its electricity by 2023, a remarkable growth rate in the field, and this way can serve as a model for ASEAN. In the context of the world's efforts to minimize greenhouse gas emissions, energy conversion, as well as the production and use of green hydrogen, is a major priority for many countries, including Vietnam. This is also one of the fields that France and Vietnam can collaborate effectively, as one side has capabilities and the other has significant needs. Hydrogène de France, or HDF Energy for short, a French energy company that has inaugurated its first fuel cell factory in Bordeaux, France. This plant produces hydrogen fuel cells with capacity of 1.5 megawatts. HDF Energy has also been working on projects in Vietnam for several years. Introduced in Vietnam since 2022, HDF Energy has implemented many cooperation projects with the Ministry of Industry and Trade, the Ministry of Transport, the Vietnam Railway Corporation, and the Vietnam Electricity. The company is also engaged in the development of projects in many provinces such as Kiên Giang, Bình Thuận, and Ninh Thuận, which have great potential in developing renewable energy. HDF Energy has signed a deal with Petro Vietnam Technical Services Corporation to develop power generation projects taking advantage of renewable energy sources using renew-stable technology and hydrogen gas sources using high-power technology in Vietnam and the Asia-Pacific. We recognize that the use of green hydrogen is drawing significant interest from these sectors in Vietnam. HDF hopes to accompany Vietnam during the country's carbon emission reduction process. In the first 6 months of 2024, the number of tourists exceeded half of the year's target. This is a signal indicating the speedy comeback of Vietnamese tourism. From now until the end of the year, the tourism sector has prepared numerous new products to welcome the peak season of international visitors, with the expectation of achieving the goal of 18 million this year. As a result, in addition to incredible tours to explore Vietnam, there are tourism stimulation products that allow travelers to enjoy 4- or 5-star hotel services at cheap prices. And that's all for now. Remember, you can always watch the news again at qpvn.vn. Now, thank you for watching and hope to see you next time.